Hey everyone, gonna do a quick video on Clickup today. This project management tool has been really popular this year. I know everybody has been using other project management tools like Asana, Workday, but Clickup's been really popular, especially for marketers. So I want to give a quick overview and give my thoughts on what I like and what I don't like. So here's a basic workspace that you'll see when starting Clickup. And you can just, when you jump into this example workspace, you can make a list. A list is kind of like a folder for different workspaces. So I have one for marketing. I can create one for creative. And then once you have a list here, you probably want to start by adding people. So you can just like add people here, and then they'll be shared onto this workspace. And you can set different type of permissions as well. When you come into this workspace, there's different views. There's list view and board view. List view is good for like seeing the way your tasks go through, but I typically like board view because I'm used to more of the Kanban style of project management. So to start, you can click new task here, but it's kind of ugly because it's small. So I typically like this larger screen. Let's just say for creative, it's video project 1. Then you can set it, you can choose the different sections here, but mostly I'm going to be in the list already. So next you can click here to add different people. So if I added someone else, say a dude named Michael on my team, it would automatically find them and I would be able to click on them, just like I can click on myself to add. After that, you give a quick description. And concepting, let's say that. And you can add subtasks. So creative concept 1, creative concept 2. And what's good about the subtasks too is you can assign people to the subtasks and add due dates as well. So to just finish off today, you can set priority. You can set a due date for next week, and you can tag things with certain things. So maybe this is going to be what kind of video? Promo video. So that would tag that as a promo video. And then there's templates and dependencies, which I'll get to in a little bit. So let me create this task first. Then once I create the task, I usually jump back in, and here you'll see this wider screen of the card. I know in Trello they call them cards. If there was another person on the team, I would just, assign them, and you can assign different people to it. And then once you assign them, if I remember correctly, you can add a due date. So let's say this phase is gonna be due tomorrow. I remember adding due dates here. Oh, here we go, set due date. And you can also set priorities. So let's just say creative concept 2 is really urgent. And it's due Thursday. So what I did was I clicked on, if you want to bulk add things, you can click on both and you can set the priorities or the due dates or reassign. All right, let's get to dependencies. So dependencies are like if you have one subtask that's concept 1 comes after, concept 2 comes after concept 1, right? Then I can set it as a dependency. So this would mean this has to be, it shows this, it would show that this would be blocking from me being able to complete this. This is helpful if you have separate team members so that you can see one team member's task block another team member's task. There's also, when you click into one of these subtasks, it opens up a separate card for that specific subtask, which is kind of confusing because you end up thinking like, oh, where you can it's easy for you to get lost because you end up thinking, oh, where am I? Where is the card for this? Especially if you don't click into the card, sometimes you can go into notifications and someone updates you, and you jump right into a subtask. Then you might jump straight into, let's say you end up clicking onto one of these like this. You jump straight into a subtask and you're like, oh, so just remember to click out. I typically don't like to get too granular with the subtasks because of that confusion. All right, so that's what dependencies are. There's also templates. Yeah, so I haven't added any tasks as templates to use, but there's templates for folders, there's templates for lists, and templates for subtasks. So let's do, for example, something like within a list. Let's do simple to-dos. I'm not going to go through the customization options. Just typically you can just import everything or not import everything. Sometimes it's better to just keep everything blank. Okay, that's what I was missing there. So if we come back to my dashboards, this was the new list that was created based on the template. You can also save things as templates. So if I wanted to save this entire grouping, you would come into the card itself and you click save as template, and then you can choose everyone and import everything. So video project 1 template. Then if you wanted to create that, here's my video project 1 template. It's a task. So it looks like I was wrong. There is no option to add subtasks as an individual template. I guess you don't really need to if you have the major tasks. But it is already what you need. The last thing I'm going to quickly go over before I go into my likes and dislikes of ClickUp is the views option, which I think is actually pretty cool. So you can create mind maps. That helps you create how different tasks link to each other. I don't really use it that much. The Gantt chart is something that I quite like. If let's say you have multiple things going on and you wanted to show someone, if you're working with a client and you wanted to show someone that it'll take a certain amount of time before you complete. Let's say you have a video project and it's going to be a 2-month video project with different type of casting and editing and the actual video shoot. You can show that in a Gantt chart like this, and it would be really nice and elegant. All right, let's get to the meat of this video, which is the things, my opinion of ClickUp, because you can watch an overview about this on other channels as easily. But in my opinion, the things I like about ClickUp, so one of the things I like most is dark mode. There's an option for dark mode. It's quite nice. I like having dark mode. Having dark mode is really a priority for any app of mine because I work at night and I just like everything to not hurt my eyes. And then the other thing I like about ClickUp is that, as you can see, I'm not using my browser. There is a downloadable app and you can just run it as a desktop app. Of course, it's built on Electron, I'm pretty sure, so it's quite slow, which I don't like. If you look at just refreshing ClickUp, I can press Command R to refresh ClickUp. And if you take a look at that time, it's quite a few seconds to load, and it just feels kind of slow. Everything just feels slightly slow to like pop up and pop out. You know, just it doesn't feel that slow. Maybe if you're used to clicking on things and working with web apps, but compared to Trello, Trello's clicks are way more immediate. Another thing that I do like and I also don't like is the hotkey system. I'm pretty keyboard sensitive in the sense of I like to be very dexterous with my keyboard so I can work really fast. So let's go through some of these. The things I would use most is, okay, let's just go from top down. So slash commands are for when you're adding things to a subtask. So I can just hit slash. So I can hit slash and add a checklist. I can hit slash and add priority. I can hit slash and A, and I can unassign myself. I can hit slash due date slash D and set due date for another day. Those are some things that are good. The thing I don't like about the keyboard is that there is no option to really click from here to here. I can't focus from one section to the other. So when I create a new task, typically I like to jump from this top section, make a title, and then tab over to this, type the description, create the subtasks, which I can create subtasks, which is good. But then also sometimes it creates this weird, tab that I don't really need. And then I also want to come over here to type comments to a team member. So there is no quick keyboard option for me to focus on this section and that, which limits my ability to use the keyboard and forces me to switch over and click and grab my mouse, which is totally inefficient. Other hotkeys. So Q is to show or hide sidebar. And it doesn't seem to work. So yeah, it's kind of buggy. Let's see if it works if I refresh it. Sometimes the keyboard doesn't work and you have to refresh ClickUp, which is also another con. There you go, now it works. So pressing Q hides the sidebar. Other things I like to use is K for quick switch, S for open search, T for create task, and N for notifications. So let's go through those. Notifications is, let's say your teammates update you, they mention things to you, you'll go to your notifications and check that off. And then let's hop back to the board here. If I press L, I can go into list view, and if I press B, I can go into board view. And if I press K, I can jump to a specific location. So let's say I want to go to creative, then I can search for that creative and jump to this specific list using that quick switch. Quick switch is only limited to lists. If you want to find individual tasks, you have to press S. And this looks a lot nicer than it actually is. When you end up having 30 or 40 tasks because you have a full team integrated here, it just becomes really hard to actually search. It takes a little bit of time for it to really load and search, and you can't quite find the thing you're looking for as easy as you'd like. So it's a nice idea overall, but not quite there. So the last thing that I think is cool about ClickUp is you can create some pretty cool dashboards that show some stats. Let me just add a few. Okay, I'm too lazy to add those for for you, but if you end up having dashboards, it's quite nice to see which of your team members is actually completing their tasks, and it'll show that which tasks are overdue and the team members who have a high task completion rate. So it's just a simple way to, it's just nice and elegant. Overall, I would say ClickUp is not necessarily that useful for me, mainly because if I'm bulk adding tasks doing project management, I need something that's much faster, and I want to be able to just hammer it down on my keyboard a lot better. And overall, just this app feels a little buggy, it feels a little clunky. I like all the features, but I mainly just stick to a few features, so I don't really need all of that excess type features that ClickUp has. It has some nice things. I think it's overall pretty good, but for me, the slowness of it and the slight bugs and the lack of keyboard make it just not as good of an app as it can be.